Welcoming Adi. You come here every year. You come here every year.
I come here every year, and it's really nice to see you, Andy, every year.
Thank you.
So thanks a lot.
Nice to see you too. Tell us about your vision for the future. Go.
I mean, the vision of the future, you're going to see a bit of it on the slide, right? But I'm going to tell you about something else really, really cool before I start off with semiconductors and EV.
Please.
I mean, all of you like to eat healthy food, right? And all of you like to eat healthy food all over the year. I mean, I like to eat probably strawberries all over the year, right? Andy, don't you?
No wonder you're so fit.
I'm doing my best with that. But I'm going to tell you a secret, Andy, on how can you get healthy food all the time of the year.
Everybody, it's not a secret anymore.
But I mean, I'm going to let all of you in on a massive secret. Visit the Siemens booth. It's just on the other side. So as soon as you enter, visit the Siemens booth. And we're showing something pretty cool there this year called sustainable farming. So basically, how do you get any food you need, so any plant, vegetable, any fruit, vegetable, any time of the year, in a sustainable manner, cost efficient. And in the future, we're going to need a lot more food, right, worldwide. And this is something we're showing on the Siemens booth. So that's answering your question. A little bit about the vision, a little bit about food and healthy food. So visit the Siemens booth for that. But however, I'm not here to talk about food today, right? I think I'm here to talk about something else. I'm here to talk about the topic around the semiconductor ecosystem. This is the topic which we at Siemens are also heavily involved in as a supply. I mean, our suppliers, right? So TI is one of our suppliers who have been supporting us a lot, getting the chips all the time. But this is a topic, of course, which touches each and every one of us every day. Before I start off, I'd just like to briefly introduce myself. So I'm Adi, I'm the general manager of the digital industries business of Siemens in Taiwan. So basically, I'm heading the industrial business of Siemens here. Many people ask me always, hey, my dishwasher at home is not working. Can you support me? No, Siemens is not making dishwashers anymore. So we're not doing dishwashers anymore. We're not doing vacuum cleaners anymore. However, we are heavily into automation, so digital industry. So that's what I'm responsible for. We are also into stuff around building automation. So the Taipei 101, for example, or trains. So these are three of the main areas where Siemens is responsible for, just to give you a bit more color on that topic. The world around us is we've got challenges, right? I think every day when I speak to all my customers, when I speak to my colleagues, there seems to be basically challenges everywhere out there. I think a few of them are also listed out there. I would just like to pick a couple. Just take the one around the faster innovation cycles. I mean, this is an interesting one, right? I mean, just come back to our personal lives for a minute. I think I just saw you, right, wearing some nice pair of sneakers there. In your normal daily life, when you want a pair of sneakers now, you want it to be personalized, right? So you're going online, personalizing your sneakers with your name on that, and that is a way forward. But of course, behind that is industry. I mean, industry has to also keep up with this, and there is a growing sort of changing consumer behavior each and every day. And that means industry then has to also keep up with this changing consumer behavior, because it's not magic that a sneakers can appear out of nowhere. There has to be machinery behind that. There has to be a production behind that. So that is why also innovation cycles are getting much shorter. And we also are, this part of this forum is EVs, right? Especially in EVs, the innovation cycles is going to be so much shorter compared also to normal automobiles. So innovation cycles are getting shorter. So we as industry have to react to that topic. Of course, a bunch of other topics around localization, for example, where you want to set up a factory in a different region, but also using maybe same lines like here in Taiwan. So that is why also cross-border factories, cross-border collaborations is getting more and more important. But one massive topic on the board out there, and this is a topic which I think each and everyone is facing every day, is sustainability, right? I think there is no discussion which goes by without escaping that topic, especially in the business world right now. And to be very honest, each and every one of us, we are actually the bad people. Just think about that, right? More than a third of energy consumption is coming from us, from industry. And more than 30% of all the greenhouse emissions in the world is coming from us. So we are the bad people. And we have to do something about it, right? Because if we do something about it, there will be also a massive effect of this, of improving this whole situation. So we have to do something about it. On the other side, especially in Taiwan, this is massively important. Taiwan, especially if you go down south, right, to Taichung and Tainan, there are a bunch of machine builders there. All these machine builders are exporting. So 90% of machines from Taiwan get exported. And their customers in the US or in Europe are asking them, hey, what are you doing for sustainability today? Because the machines they're buying today from Taiwan are going to be sitting on their shop floors for the next 20 years, right? And that's CapEx for them for the next 20 years. So the customers are not waiting for some rules and regulations to be changing maybe in 5 years. Stuff has to be done now. And especially our machine builders are asking for answers right now about what we as automation suppliers are doing for them. Of course, what they themselves are doing for them also, because they have to answer to their customers. Because in this tough market environment, it is about basically who is supporting also these topics the most. And at the end of the day, resources are limited, and we have to do a lot more with less also going forward. And the two topics I will be touching on, in fact, touching on 4 topics, but the main focus topics today are going to be these two, right? I mean, how are we using digital transformation to advance industry, and how is sustainability playing a role in that, right? So the net zero transformation. I mean, the first time I started to live in Taiwan was back in 2014, and at that time already, people were talking about Industry 4.0. But this topic never really picked up. So people keep talking about it, but they don't really do anything. But luckily, over the last years, this is changing, right? I think people are doing a lot more on this topic of digitalization, and even more luckily, people are doing a lot about sustainability. So that is the good news, basically, right? So I will now go a bit more into detail about a few of those topics, but before that, you get a small video about Siemens in semiconductor. Right, it's about the U, right? So these are the 4 points I'll just touch on briefly today. How are we supporting at the end of the day, an automation supplier? How are we supporting, especially the semiconductor manufacturing, around topics around sustainability, around smart manufacturing, and cybersecurity? Because at the end of the day, this topic touches each and every one of us. And this is what I just said, right? Even a small change, if we do as industry, we can make a massive impact. There is just 1%, so just 1% of reduction of carbon footprint means so much reduction worldwide. I was recently reading an interesting thing. I mean, recently Intel, right, has invested in Germany, and they're going to be building in a small German town of Magdeburg in the north of Germany, and the consumption, the electricity consumption of that Intel fab is going to be equal to the entire consumption of that town of Magdeburg in Germany, right? So it's basically doubling. So the more we can then also do supporting a company, for example, in that case, Intel, it's also going to sort of help to reduce this whole topic around carbon efficiency. A lot of my customers are normally asking me, hey, Siemens, how can you support me for ESG? It's a big word, right? You're probably going to be running around the show also the next days, and everybody's going to be talking about ESG, right? You can almost play bullshit bingo, right? This topic. But how can we support this ESG? I mean, starting with the bottom, right? I mean, what I tell my customers is, of course, with the E, I can support you. I come to that. But with the G and with the S, I mean, these are not two topics at the end of the day. I mean, I can directly support you. I mean, of course, indirectly, I can do that. I mean, it's basically talking about the social and the governance, right? Where we as Siemens, we are making sure that we are treating our employees fairly. We are treating our customers and suppliers fairly. We are also committed as a company, right? Till 2030, we ourselves want to become carbon neutral. So we can also then give tips to some of our customers to say, hey, how we as Siemens have managed to at least set ourselves those goals, and how can we maybe help our customers to also reach some sort of carbon neutrality targets. So this is about the S and the G. But where we can make a difference also together with industry is the E. So the topics around the resource efficiency and decarbonization. So here, already there are some very, very simple portfolio at the end of the day, which when our customers are using it, they can, in the first step, get transparency maybe. Because especially in Taiwan, I think a lot of times also the agencies are asking, hey, what is your base level? Because only if you have the base level, you're able to then sort of calculate the differences, and then you're sort of able to make your calculations, you get some stuff from the government. So that is why you always need to find the base level. And for this also, there are some very cool and easy ways of measuring the transparency of what is the energy consumption today, which is not always trivial, right, in industry, especially if you have a brownfield factory out there. It is sometimes not trivial to get the energy consumption levels. But here we do have, again, visit the Siemens booth. And here you will see also then some very simple solutions of finding the energy consumption status currently with very simple ways, like some very simple input-output devices, so energy IOs, and also with some newer topics like our edge technology, where we're able to collect this data in an edge device and basically do something with this. So this is the basic topic. How do we get transparency out of that? Going forward, there is always a topic of my customers are always asking me, hey, what is the carbon footprint of your PLC, of your controller, right? And this is a topic always also around these different scopes, right? You have this scope 1, 2, 3. Scope 1 and 2 is pretty easy to find, right? But then when you go into that scope 3, that is where it gets difficult. I mean, I always take the example of our PLCs, right? They're manufactured in our factory in Germany, in Hamburg, and to find sort of energy consumption of that factory itself is easy. I mean, you basically calculate, okay, what is the energy consumption? Maybe we have a solar panel on the top. You can calculate that. You can calculate water. All super simple. However, what we also have to calculate is what is then the carbon footprint of the guy who supplied us with the plastic maybe. What is the carbon footprint of the truck driver who in the morning drove in maybe one of our chips? What is the carbon footprint of our suppliers, TI, right? So basically it is a whole chain which goes down. And here is where Siemens, we have started a platform, and this is going to be a neutral platform called SeaGreen, in which we are offering that our suppliers are also putting in their carbon footprint of their products into this platform. And this is going to be something neutral. And what is the advantage of it for our suppliers is then that we will also then sort of put this into our virtual softwares like Teamcenters, so that when finally a customer or end customer is designing his new factory, he's able to sort of select between two different options and probably choosing the one which is more carbon neutral. Right, so this SeaGreen is a topic which we're recently developing. You can also get some information out there in the booth on how we can try to help with topics around carbon footprints. Going forward to the topic of smart manufacturing. We are currently living in a very interesting time of industry right now. I mean, all of us know sort of automated production, right? I mean, this is where production was probably yesterday with normal PLCs. So basically all the automation suppliers, right? I mean, my nice Japanese friends, my other German friends, all of us, we are Mitsubishi, right? So basically we are having all of us are having our PLC controllers, and everybody's programming with this. So this is basically industry of almost yesterday. But now slowly we go forward to adaptive production. And this is already taking it one step forward, already where you don't even need any, even almost the lights are off in the factory, where people are not even involved there. So we are already there. And what's the difference? And this is where you see also the word X all over our booth, on my shirt, everywhere. This is sort of this new portfolio which VF Siemens has released, which is also meant to bridge this gap between the OT and the IT worlds. Today, a lot of young people are coming into the workforce. A lot of them today are no longer interested to program PLCs or all these things with the old world way of programming PLCs, right? They're coming from the IT generation. And this is where it should be able that the new workforce is also able to do the programmings, do the automation in a more modern IT way of programming. And this is where we have now released a portfolio, a complete new portfolio set called Industrial Operations X, which you will see all over our Siemens booth. So this is already today, right? And what is actually not even the future, I think even this is already today, topics around the industrial metaverse. We recently, as Siemens, announced a cooperation with NVIDIA, where we are building, for one of our automotive customers, a new factory, which is in the industrial metaverse in the first step. But this is also not the future. So this is also topics which are already happening today. So topics around future production out there, but also this whole topic around the OT-IT integration. And what does it mean? I will also come back to that in a couple of more slides. But before I go to that, I want to talk a little bit also about some very simple topics around AI, right? So this is another massive technology. You will also see it a lot around the different booths here. But AI is really a topic also for the semiconductor production, which can make a difference. Let me just give you one example also here. Our own factory, again, our PLC manufacturing plant in Amberg in Germany. Last year, when the whole sort of crisis was going around with the supply chain shortages, at some point of times we noticed that, okay, it was not even maybe the chips which were a challenge, of course they were a challenge, but it was also maybe some of our equipments. Because every PCB board which we were manufacturing, it had to go through a sort of X-ray device. And then we realized, okay, this X-ray device was a bottleneck because we were not even able to purchase more X-ray devices because the delivery times are super long. So that is why we had to find some different ideas. So then we created a sort of AI use case for our X-ray machines there so that we did not have to check each and every PCB board and were still able to have exactly the good quality without this inspection, just by optical AI inspections. So we have exactly this use case also on our Siemens booth, where you will see this sort of industrial PC together with NVIDIA. So this example, which we were using in this case. So AI is a massive topic, and this is just going to be sort of accelerated also going forward out there also in every place in the industry. Coming back now to this future, the so-called future, but actually it is the today. Industrial metaverse. Right, so what does that mean? I mean, we are always talking, especially at Siemens, around the topics of the real and the digital world. When you talk about the real and the digital world, it is basically the concept that you're designing and building a new machine or a new production plant, first of all, virtually, and after that, in the real world. What does this mean? Just let me give you one example. Just imagine you're okay, a totally different application now. You're maybe a bottling plant, bottling machine manufacturer, right? Making bottles. So you're a machine builder who's making machines for bottles in Taichung maybe. And of course in the past also, you were making these machines, first of all, virtually, right? You were going to CAD-CAM, you were designing by CAD-CAM, nobody was making pictures on a piece of paper, right? So you're doing everything on CAD-CAM already. But now, we give you the option to also put the brain of the machine, so basically the complete automation, with all the kinematics, everything virtually inside. So you're basically designing this machine completely with all the kinematics, all the automation virtually firstly. Potentially then you have an end customer in the US, and this end customer is maybe a bottling company. He's building a new factory. And this new factory is also getting built virtually first. Everything is virtual. So he wants the virtual machine into his virtual factory in order to make sure everything is working perfectly, right? The flows are perfect, everything is okay. So that is when he's getting the design over, and then he's very quickly giving feedback back to Taiwan, and very quickly they are designing the perfect machine and then sending it over. And the advantage is you have not wasted any prototypes, you have not wasted any material, also helping to sustainability, right? And in this way, also after the machine is delivered, the customer back in Taichung or the OEM back in Taichung is getting quick feedback from his end user and making also changes for the next machine. So it is really a continuous process. So the product, what I just mentioned, was a machine. The production is the end customer out in the US. And there is a constant flow of information around this topic. And this is already the real and the virtual world. And you take it one step forward, our cooperation with NVIDIA, where we are then making these simulations with the help of the NVIDIA GPUs and the Omniverses so much more realistic that you almost then say you are in the industrial metaverse, because later in the real factory, if you have any service case, for example, and it stops, you're able to basically go back in time because there is a real-time exchange of data. So go back in time and you're able to sort of check out, hey, when did the fault exactly occur? And you're able to make the remedy. So this is basically already going into this industrial metaverse. Of course, there'll be much more progress on this over in the next years, but we are already there today in the space of the industrial metaverse. And also what will happen in the future is today, or even yesterday, right? Many times processes happen step by step, and this is not the case anymore. Processes will sort of happen parallelly because you really need to have different processes, engineering, simulation, automation, designing, happening really parallelly, because only then you're able to shorten your time to market. Because if not, you're going to be slow and someone else is going to sort of get your orders, right? So that is why all these processes are going to be happening in parallel going forward. And that is exactly what it is about the connection between this OT world and the IT world. So from the top, from the bottom to the top. There's always a very interesting thing, right? All of us love this IT world, right? We love to talk about IT. But when it comes to doing it, we all live in this OT world. Nobody really likes to do it. And that is where we at Siemens, we are trying to help our customers, our partners, to sort of bridge this gap between the OT, so basically collecting these data, doing something with this data, and bridging the gap all the way to the IT layers along these ERP systems and different processes. So this is going to be the key also for industry in the future. How are factories, how is production successfully going to be able to bridge this gap between the OT and the IT world? Of course, when you're connecting more, you're getting more and more susceptible, right, to attacks. But the answer is not connecting lesser, because very often you hear, I personally, I started my career in the machine tool business, CNC, and that is one of the most conservative thing, right? They love to sort of keep their machines as islands. They don't like to connect machines in the CNC business. They're very scared. But that is not the answer, right? The answer is connecting more. But not only just connecting more, you have to also always think about cybersecurity. And that is where we are offering our customers a very simple approach, also with this defense in depth approach. We are offering our customers also services, and it's not even paid, right? You don't have to pay me anything for this. We're doing it actually free of cost, a lot of this stuff, where we are also sort of consulting our customers for the topic of cybersecurity, where you have different layers, right from the system to the network, all the way up to the plant, where we're able to consult our customers to help them have a cyber-secure production site. Also, we have some software with the help of which you're also then able to check all your networks, check if there are any potential holes or loopholes in there. So this is also possible, but the most of all, we are interested to make sure that our customers are having a cyber-secure environment. And why does this all matter, right? At the end of the day, like I said, semiconductor is everywhere. It is touching all of us. And basically, how are we then able to use all these innovations which I just showed in order to create a more sustainable future also for all of us? This is something, this is not a secret really. The Semiconductor Climate Consortium. So this is also it's actually not a new initiative, right? So this is an organization, I think you guys are probably also in it. So we as Siemens, we are also in the Semiconductor Consortium, where we are jointly trying as an organization to get our products designed in a more sustainable manner to make sure that all production and industry is really sustainable. With that, thanks a lot, and please feel free also to visit our Siemens booth, which is right on the opposite side. You will see what do you see there, Andy? You will see the virtual farming thing, right? There.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm going to pay that a visit a bit while later.
Thanks a lot.